So Kentucky History 6. We're still talking about the origins of the names of the county and cities around Muldraugh, Hardin County, Meade County, Fort Knox. And so to begin with, I want to actually go through this list of 9 counties in Kentucky that the names of the Kentucky counties actually came from the Battle of Frenchtown, which was War of 1812 battle. Remember, War of 1812 is when the British burned down the White House, and when Tecumseh was murdered. I think calling it Tecumseh's War, Tecumseh's Last Stand, would be more beneficial. War of 1812 has a bland ring to it, and actually a bland Ballard will be killed in the Battle of Frenchtown. But the War of 1812, let's see what Wikipedia says a little bit about it. So the War of 1812 was a 32-month military campaign, so it did last for 3 years, a little bit less than 3 years. War of 1812 actually lasted from 1812 to 1815. So the name is all bad. The War of 1812 kind of makes it sound like it only happened just for that year and that was it, when in reality it happened for 3 years. So Wikipedia says War of 1812 was a 32-month military conflict between the USA and United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, its Northern American colonies, and its Indian allies. The outcome resolved many issues which remained. The outcome resolved many issues which remained from the American War of Independence, but involved no boundary changes. The United States declared war in 1812 for several reasons, including trade restrictions brought about Britain's continuing war with France, impressment of American merchant sailors into the Royal Navy, British support of American Indian tribes against American expansion, outrage over insults to national honor after humiliations on the high seas, and possibly American interest in annexing British North American territory, part of modern-day Canada, which has been denied to them in the settlement ending in the American Revolutionary War. So this is the British versus American colonists again. A lot of the the feelings and sentiments were left over from the Revolution. Revolution lasts for 7 years, right, from 1776 to 83, if you want to count the Treaty of Paris as ending. The Battle of Yorktown was in 81, and so that would actually be 5 years. But 1774 is when you had the Indian battles, the Yellow Creek Massacre, Battle of Point Pleasant, Lord Dunmar's War, and also Massachusetts overthrew their British government in 1774 too, so before the Declaration was even written. So yeah, if you want to count those, 1774, also the first battle and last battle of the American Revolution was against Indians. Battle of Blue Licks, which was in northern Kentucky, against Daniel Boone, and Israel Boone dies, and it was the worst massacre against the Kentucky settlers in the Revolution, with the Indians killing. And then the Battle of Blue Licks was the last battle in the American Revolution, and it ended in a white loss. It was Daniel Boone and them. And then you had the Battle of Point Pleasant, is what they call, the first battle. But I feel like if you're going to consider the Battle of Point Pleasant the first battle, then you would actually have to consider the massacre on Yellow Creek, which is in Steubenville, wherever that fucking rape happened in Ohio. So big fucking surprise. You got, the rape of Native America also happened in the same place in Ohio. So you have Yellow Creek Massacre, Battle of Point Pleasant. This is the battle against the Shawnee. First battles against Indians, last battles against Indians. The fucking Revolutionary Wars against the Indians. There was something to do with independence, but it's really who wanted to control all these lands. France was fighting for the land. Spain was fighting for the land. Great Britain was fighting for the land. Then the colonists that were born there, like, fuck you guys, we're going to take the land. That's my take on it. So it was more about Canada and Indian lands. It's Tecumseh's War, Tecumseh's Last Stand. Tecumseh dies in the Battle of Thames. So the War of 1812, actually, for the character of Kentucky, it's got very important implications. The implications that it has is you have the War of 1812, so about 64% or so Kentuckians actually died in the thing. And you had Isaac Shelby, who was the first and fifth governor of Kentucky. He was a Revolutionary War hero. He's like 60-year-old man, comes galloping in and saves the fucking day and shit. So Isaac Shelby, the first governor. So basically Kentucky is War of 1812. Kentucky is the pioneering West, the manifest destiny. It's a civil war. And it's really, even in Beloveds, the runaway slave who kills her own kids just to make sure they don't want to go back to slavery. That was based on a Kentucky slave family. But War of 1812 is significant for Meade County, because Meade County is named after James M. Meade, and James M. Meade was murdered in the Battle of Frenchtown in 1813 in the War of 1812. So you have all these Kentuckians who are organizing here in the Bluegrass, and then they go on to Michigan and they fight this battle against Roundhead, Walks in the Water, and the British, who had a fort up there. And so they had a fort. So they had a fort up there in there's 9 counties in Kentucky that actually come from the Battle of Frenchtown. There's 9 counties that are named after people who died in the Battle of Frenchtown, except for Bland Ballard. He was the only person that survived. But Allen County, Ballard County, Edmonson County, Graves County, Hard County, Hickman County, McCracken County, Meade County, and Simpson County. And so none of those are Obama counties. I mean, how many Obama counties were there in 2008? There's 8. How many in 2012? How many Obama counties are there in Kentucky? There's 4. It was cut in half, right? So Obama's support actually went down from 2008 and 2012 in Kentucky. But we loved his Obamacare. We're signing up like fucking madmen. So Allen County, Ballard County, Edmonson County, Graves County, Hart County, Hickman County, McCracken County, Meade County, and Simpson County were all counties that were named from people and colonels and shit that died from the Battle of Frenchtown. And actually, I wrote down their names. So Battle of Frenchtown, you have this little chart actually in Wikipedia. Allen County is named after Lieutenant Colonel John Allen. Ballard County is Major Bland Ballard, who survived. But Bland, what a great fucking name, the Ballard of Bland. Ballard, motherfucker, is Bland. His name is Bland. He is Bland. That's so. Imagine being Ballard County. It's kind of embarrassing being Meade County, being named after these Indian fucking genociders and shit. But Bland Ballard, he's on, George Rogers Clark and Northwest Indian War and Fallen Timbers, Tippecanoe, River Raisin. So he's fought in tons of fucking against the Native Americans. But this is a guy is a hero, and he's bland. You look at his face, he looks fucking bland. I don't know anything about him. He's unremarkable to me, and actually he's the enemy. He's Simon Girty in the Shawnee Tecumseh. Those are the only revolutionaries in the American Revolution. So Allen County, Edmonson County is named after Captain John Edmondson. Graves County after Major Benjamin Franklin Graves. Hart County, Captain Nathaniel G.S. Hart. Hickman County, Captain Paschal Hickman. McCracken County, Captain Virgil McCracken. Meade County, Captain James Meade. Simpson County after Captain John Simpson. So that's 9 counties were named after the Battle of Frenchtown. So at War of 1812, a lot of Kentuckians had died during the War of 1812, and then they honored a lot of the fallen by naming them after it. And that's where Meade County comes from. So Meade County is named after James M. Meade. And that's sort of, when you look at history, you should look at the continuity. You got English-speaking, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. So you have, these are the original whites that continue to hate everybody else, all the other whites that are coming in. The British, they brought their culture over, even though they overthrew the government. The culture is still there. Anglo-Saxons actually came from Germany, but the British dialect is different. But English is a Germanic language, so it's very similar. A lot of similarities there, but I do. I see different. Germans look different than other whites. The questions I got is, what war did James Meade die in? Which I just answered it. It was the War of 1812, Tecumseh's last stand, and he died in. What war did Meade die in? He died in the Battle of Frenchtown. 9 Kentucky counties were named after the Battle of Frenchtown. That's the next question. Who led the counterattack against the Kentuckians? So that would be Roundhead, Walks in the Water. What Indian campaign did John J. Hardin engage in? What campaigns? I'm not sure actually about that one. I think he was part of George Rogers Clark and Homar's campaign and shit, but it was George Washington, so Homar's campaign, and then there's that other guy that lost too. There's 2 guys that lost in the campaign. Henry Knox was actually a part of this too. So Henry Knox and John J. Hardin would have known each other. So that's pretty fascinating. Hardin County, Fort Knox, Henry Knox, John J. Hardin, they would have known each other. Last question, was Hitler German? And the answer, of course, is no. He was Austrian. So, okay, alright, so why am I doing this? Why am I putting all this? They're kind of mini history lesson plans. I think they're fascinating. I like a little bit of history that's going on, but really it's just about knowledge and education. And so there's sort of a Khan's Academy thing going on here, but there's also a Cult of Dusty thing going on here. So he was pointing out the Duck Dynasty thing. He's like, aren't you sick of Southerners having these fucking idiot, fucking inbred, redneck, fucking homophobic pieces of shit represent the South? I mean, aren't you sick of that shit, that these dumb fuckers, they're the ones that, these are who represent? No, that's such bullshit. So I think we do need to raise our caliber of knowledge and what we understand about the world. I'm sick and tired of our stupid stereotypes dictating our behavior. So I think we do need to start being smart, valuing smart people, valuing smart ideas. In the great pool of ideas, only the best ideas should win. So let's go along with not authority figures, not blindly following some fascist authoritarian Julie Chancer fucking asshole orders, but actually go with the good ideas, the things that make sense. So I'm in Muldrow, Kentucky right now. And the way I feel like with knowledge, I get to learn by speaking the knowledge, but by rapidly saying lots of different ideas and forming the questions, I feel as though you get a sort of an overall picture, and you get a review. So the more facts, I just want to plug away with facts, as many facts as I can. So in Muldrow, Kentucky right now, it's just south of the hill that Fort Knox started on. So Fort Knox started on Muldrow Hill. So Muldrow is like the original Fort Knox, the hill is at least. But this isn't actually Fort Knox. They call Muldrow like the only one-sided town, because the other side is Fort Knox. So it doesn't even have, it's got a border, but the other side is Fort Knox. And Fort Knox it's kind of its own contained thing. People go in and out all the time on it, but it's 109,000 acres. And they have lots of buildings in there. They got a school there. They got training ground. There's the gold, right? They got the bullion depository. But they got shit tons of fucking. You can go to Google Maps and actually check it out. There's a ton of housing and buildings and stuff back there. So you have to have a badge to get back there. So you have to be like hired on or part of the military. So yeah. So this video, this Kentucky history, I'm focusing on the origin of names of Hardin County, Meade County, Fort Knox, and Muldrow. Not just because this is where I'm at, but I think it opens up, it's a great introduction to the beginning of Kentucky history. We learned Kentucky history supposedly in the 4th grade. I wasn't here in 4th grade, so that means I didn't even get any of that. The Kentucky history class in University of Louisville was lackluster, and we really didn't get to share our stories, and there didn't feel like a commonality between everybody, and it's not really valued that much. So I feel as though there's not a standards test or a Common Core or whatever about Kentucky history, Kentucky civics, or the Kentucky Constitution, and so everything Kentucky sort of kind of gets put to the back burner, and people don't really the study of history is about how we all got here today. So if we're only learning American history and we're not learning our state history, then we're not really learning more localized history. We're not learning about ourselves. Louisville, Louis Vine, I just found out this about Louis W. Hine. He's the one who took a bunch of child labor pictures back in the 1900s, and he was able to get child labor laws passed into action. The kids that he was taking pictures of were from Louisville. 1855 Know-Nothing riots happened in Louisville. Louisville was a huge underground railroad spot. It was also a huge spot for Germans and the Irish to come live. So there's a lot of history and culture here in Kentucky that we should be talking about.